third time he came, and the voice of God said, Samuel. He ran back to Eli and said, what would you have me do? You surely called me this time. Every time that the Lord called him, it seemed like it was getting more clearer and clearer. So now here it is. Eli decided to say, listen, next time you hear the voice that says Samuel, ask the Lord, say, Lord, here am I. What would you have me to do? Amen. Now, Samuel had the calling on his life. He was already anointed. But one thing about Samuel, he was anointed, but in the same time, he was very careful about his decisions. Now, Samuel, as Eli, the Bible said, as his eyes got dim. In other words, in his last state of life, when Eli began to, Lord, about to call him home, Samuel raised up. And he raised up as a prophet Samuel now. Now this young boy is anointed and he is appointed. He comes to a man by the name of Saul. And he ordained Saul and anointed Saul. Said, now you will rule over the king of Israel. Saul being a disobedient king. Disobedient is sin. Saul having pride and having jealousy. Amen. He thought that it was all about him. The Lord began to speak to Samuel again. And he said, Samuel, what I want you to do is, I want you to look for another king of Israel. This is where I'm getting to with the young people now. Now, when he's looking for this other king, here it is. The Lord said, go and find me another king. The Spirit of the Lord led him to a man by the name of Jesse. And he told Jesse, he said, Jesse, listen, I want you to bring your sons. And I'm going to pick out me one of your sons to be the king of Israel. Jesse bringing all of his sons in, except for one. The Bible said that Jesse had 8 sons, but Jesse only brought 7. Now here he is, as him began to look over the sons of Jesse. The first son came in by the name of Eli. Eli, the Bible said that he was built and looking qualified to be a king. He had the right status and the right stature. His countenance was good. Soon as Samuel seen Eli, the first thing he said, well, I know that this must going to be the one that's going to be the king. The Lord began to speak to Samuel. Says, Samuel, you look at the outer appearance of a man, but I look at the heart. The next one he brung in was his other brother, Abinadab. When Abinadab came in, he was a handsome-looking man. Looked like he was ready to be a warrior because all of them was already in the army, so they was built and structured wise. But when Samuel looked up on him, the Lord said, no, it's not him either. He's not qualified. The next one came in was his next brother, Shammah. When Shammah came in, the Bible said that right away Samuel said, truly this must be the one. looking at his outer appearance and his structure and his build, his height, and everything, and feeling that, no, if anybody is going to be ordained and anointed, the king of Israel, it should be him. The Lord said no. So that's 3 of the oldest brothers, and then he passed by 4 more of his sons. All of them was not the one that should be ordained, anointed the king of Israel. So Samuel began to speak to Jesse. Said, Jesse, listen, is this all of your boys? Because none of them, the Lord said, is qualified. Now here come Jesse, not realizing what he already got. He turns around and said, I have 1 more son, but he's out in the field keeping the sheep. Nothing but a sheep keeper. The Bible describes David as being ruddy, meaning reddish in complexion. And the Bible also said that he was withal of a beautiful countenance. In other words, he was handsome, but he was not built enough to be fit as being a king. His stature was not qualified as being a king. He maybe didn't have enough height. They expected him to be a king. So Samuel said, I'm not going anywhere until you bring this little boy David. When they brought David in, Samuel looked on him and the Lord said, that's the one. Anoint David, the king of Israel. What are you going at, Bishop Garrett? See, young people of today, you got to remember this, that maybe you are young, but one thing about it is, long as you are anointed by God, amen, there are obstacles and your problems that you'll be facing, you will be an overcomer of it. David now being anointed, it's something about when you're anointed by God, you don't think the same way you was when you wasn't anointed. David could have turned around and could have lived inside the palace. But David said, no, I'm going to go back and feed my father's sheep. David never did say, well, listen, I'm ready to rule as king. For the Bible tells me and history tells me that David never got on the throne until after the death of Saul. But David knew all along, as him being a young boy, that he was anointed. Now, going into the story about the Philistine, here is David being anointed because the anointing made the difference. His mind frame of thinking was very much different now. He's a young boy, but he remembered some things that God done for him. Amen. It's something about when you got a testimony. David realized that I went through something, and I'm going to tell somebody about the things I've been through. His father sends David on a little errand. He said, David, go to the camp. Now David is on the way to the camp. His brothers inside the army, and they are preparing themselves for battle. The Philistines against the Israelites. But here is David minding his business. His father said, David, listen, give your sheep to another person to watch over it. But I need you to go down to your brothers. While you go down to your brothers, I want you to take this with you. The Bible said he gave them some corn and 10 loaves of bread and gave them 10 cheeses, and it said, listen, go and be a blessing to your brother. But while David was moving and while he was doing the errand for his father, he heard a cry out of nowhere. This cry came in as an array. And he heard somebody say, who will come out and fight against me? Amen. He said, and I will kill you and make you serve our God. David looking around and saying, why is everybody afraid? See, when you're anointed by God, you don't have to be afraid of nothing. Amen. Because the anointing of God, the Spirit of God never gave us fear, but it gave us love, power, and a sound mind. Now here is David moving along, and he heard this Philistine going out for battle. Now here when David realized that what he was doing, he began to testify. And as he testified, he saw someone on the journey. And he began to tell them, said, listen, I remember it was a time when the devil came in the camp. In other words, what he was telling them, the devil really came in the camp. But he said that when I was watching my father's sheep, a lion and a bear came in to eat of them. And he said, and I slew them. And then the word got all out. See, listen here, beloved, what I'm trying to tell you is, as you being a young man and a young woman of God, don't hold back your testimony, because what you've been through, it edifies somebody else. Somebody maybe need to hear what God brought you out of. Now the word got around and got back to Saul. And when the word got to Saul began to say, who is this young boy? Bring him unto me. Eliab, the Bible said that while he was in the camp, he seen his brother bragging about what God done for him and how he had so much courage and how he did not fear this great man by the name of Goliath. So the Bible said that, listen here, beloved, when the Bible realized that now it was almost time for battle, the Bible declared that when the Philistine made another cry and said, who will come out and fight for battle? David said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that would define the army of the living God? Well, my friend, now David was saying, what he simply was saying is, I'm anointed for battle. Some of y'all here don't know what I know. See, when you got anointed oil put up on your head, your mind frame is not more naturally, but you're operating in a spiritual realm. So the anointing of God that was in his life. Now listen, beloved. Now David realizing that all that he had to do, it depend on God. Look at somebody, say, depend on God. Well, my friend, now he depending on the Lord and knowing that God is on his side, David began to require that I'm ready for battle. In other words, the Philistine got David mad. David got stirred up and he said, listen, I don't know why your guys is afraid, but call me out for battle. So Saul said, bring this young boy to me. Some called him the sheep keeper. Some say he was a harp player. And some say he was an errand boy. But one thing I can say for surely, David was anointed. David was anointed because he had no fear. And the anointing of God